Bro. I mean, you knew it wasn't gonna be that easy. I did know, but that's what made it worse. Gotta admit it was on brand, though. Oh, I don't think anyone's ever accused the Leafs of not having a brand. Let's go! Good. We all feel Stop! Never gets rusty! What am I doing? Into my kitchen! Producer Drew, can you fix all this? And when it comes to the Toronto Maple Leafs, you can crumple, yeet! Saw that going differently. With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Before we get to victory, puppies, I would like to submit the newest exhibit in Iggy Knows English. Producer Drew, show the photo. This is not a staged photo. I didn't say, hey, can you pose for this or whatever? The Leafs won the game. He got up from what he was doing, and he stood next to where the treats are kept. He knows English. He understands hockey. He knew the Leafs almost blew it, and they didn't. That being said, victory, puppies! Oh, dude. He caught that, like... Okay, that's good. Dude, you can't get like a dog treat injury. I promise I'm not still mad about the broken nose. Leafs win! 5-0! Would have been nice to say, but we'll settle for Leafs win! 6-3 over the Edmonton Oilers. It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. Let's talk about it. First and foremost, we did a stream on the SDPN YouTube channel. That was a wonderful, magical time. Thousands of people watching and a lot of VIPs. Listen. I'm a Leaf fan through and through. I love cheering for this team, and I hope they win all 82 games. And I know what you're thinking. That's so many games, but I want them to win all 82 of them during the regular season and win 16 straight in the playoffs, and then I get to go to a parade! But we know that's not how it happens. Hockey is a full contact sport, and when you think about it, 82 games is kind of nuts. 82 games is nuts enough for basketball. And while there is an underrated amount of contact, they are not going out there each and every possession trying to kill each other. And this game featured a team with Evander Kane and Corey Perry on the same line. But heading into this weekend, I'm looking at the schedule and I'm like, not looking good. Dude, Saturday, you have the Edmonton Oilers coming to town. Zach Hyman is 2 goals away from 50. You know he's going for 50. And the next night, Raleigh to play the Hurricanes, who are also extremely good, but it's not that just they're extremely good. Second half of a back-to-back on the road with travel, and it's at 6. It's early. Who the hell in the schedule maker's office or whatever did the Leafs hurt to earn that? I mean, when you think about it, if the schedule maker is a Leaf fan, that would actually explain a lot. I mean, who have the Leafs hurt more than them? So you're just looking at this weekend going, yeah, no, this is going to be pretty difficult. Like if they come out of this with 1 out of 4 points, that would exceed my expectations. Steve, you got to have a little bit more faith. I'm playing the numbers. The Oilers essentially haven't lost this year. And then there's the Hurricanes at the end of a gauntlet. That's not fun. The Hurricanes, who, by the way, better not be playing Kochetkov tomorrow on account of last game he played in, he kicked a guy blade first, and so far we've heard nothing. Anyway, add to the fact that the Edmonton Oilers have essentially not lost in 2024. The Leafs don't have Marner. The Leafs don't have Yarncroke. The Leafs don't have Bertuzzi. The Leafs don't have Labushkin. Penalty killer, the human embodiment of full send penalty killer. All guys you'd probably like to have in a game against the Edmonton Oilers. In the first shift, oh, it looks bad. The Oilers are running the Leafs around, and you know it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time until there's a whistle because there's a penalty or a goal. Sure enough, it's Matthew Knies. He takes it. The Leafs kill it by about this much. And the game changes like that in the blink of an eye. Because I'm talking to producer Drew before the game, and you're talking about someone who has the a mental baggage of being a Leaf fan. And then there's producer Drew, who, say whatever you want about him, that guy gets to live like a lot less anxiously than the rest of us. His team won the cup 2 years ago. That's bliss. If he was a Leaf fan, he'd call that a 1-year slump. But he's looking at the Oilers and going, yeah, okay, McDavid, they can score a ton of goals. They can't defend. And man, did we see that front and center in this game. Brutal in their own end. John Tavares has the puck behind the net. Hey, take a look at this. Hey, take a look at this. How's that in front of the net? It's like word still hasn't got out about Bobby McMahon. His 12th of the season, all alone. They just straight up forgot about the guy, and it's a 1-0 lead. Assist also to Timothy Liljegren, 19th assist. The dude is really starting to put together some good games here. Some blemishes here and there for sure. The man, his good games are good, and he was instrumental in this goal. Now, before the end of the second period, the Leafs would have to kill another penalty, Tavares on Bouchard. They managed to kill that. This is an already bad penalty kill. They're one of the worst penalty kills in the league, and they're shorthanded. No, not like shorthanded because they're on the penalty kill. Like, people on the penalty kill are hurt. Huge kill, and by the end of the second period, the Leafs get 2 power plays of their own. There's the Evander Kane trip on Connor Timmins, which was actually kind of funny. That was the one at the end carried over into the second. The Leafs didn't score on that one. But the Darnell Nurse interference on William Nylander, even funnier. Because, dude, let's call it what it is. That game... the officiating was interesting. I would call that officiating playoff style. The Leafs played a playoff style game. Like, they played the percentages against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, which you have to do. What do you mean by play the percentages? I mean they can't call everything. If you called the game by the rule book, the Oilers would have 12 power plays a game. We got a front row seat to the Joel Edmondson experience in this one. And just prior to Nurse taking this penalty, the Leafs got away with a couple. On the power play, Timothy Liljegren, again, leading the top unit, by the way, fires it on, it hits Willie's stick and his skate, and in. 2-0 Leafs after 1, and they hold the Oilers to just 6 shots after a torrid start. Unreal. Second period starts good because the Leafs are on the power play. They don't end up scoring on it. But we got the Pontus Holmberg experience because Matthew Knies was out there with Austin Matthews and Max Domi. Sheldon Keefe would sort of flip-flop back and forth depending on the situation. Because on occasion, Holmberg would creep up onto that top line. And in this particular case, he was there instead of Matthew Knies. This play was sick. It feels like whenever Holmberg scores, it's fabulous because Matthews hits Max Domi with a great pass in the slot. Like, that's a scoring chance. Domi has a scoring chance. And he did the most Max Domi thing possible, the most maximum Domi thing possible. He passed it. Pontus Holmberg, with about half an hour to put it in the back of the net, does! His 5th of the season. I could have swore he had more, and the Leafs go up 3-0 somehow. Now, while that play was sick, this is the NHL. It's really difficult to pull off plays like that unless someone's not doing their job. Evan Bouchard, woof! Like, all right, I know Erik Karlsson is the reigning Norris Trophy winner, so, like, the best defenseman award doesn't always go to the person best at defense. Those should be the 2 awards. Like, people say, like, oh, defensive defenseman. No. It should be best defenseman, that's player who is a defenseman, and best at defense. Bouchard is probably going to get a number of votes, might even win the thing, and I gotta tell you, he ain't the best at defense. Dude, good player, might even win the Stanley Cup this year. I'm serious. Brutal in his own end. Every highlight I see of him is a nightmare. Just allergic to body contact. Well, it just goes to show you that Austin Matthews can make anyone score. He started that play. But you're not going to believe this. 3 minutes later, Holmberg scores again. It's a different group of guys. Morgan Riley to Bobby McMahon, who's out there now, to Pontus Holmberg, who taps it in. His 6th of the season now. 1/3 of Holmberg's goals all year have been scored tonight. And the Leafs are up 4-0 on Edmonton. Dude, I don't know what you predicted for this game. You didn't predict this. You weren't like, oh yeah, the Leafs without Marner and Yarncroke and Bertuzzi and Lyubushkin. You know what? We can take Lyubushkin out of that just because of the offense part. But the Leafs without like 3 really key forwards are gonna blow the Oilers out of the water. That's like $18 million worth of forwards alone. What do the Coyotes pay for their entire decor? Yo! I'm sorry, I just checked. The Coyotes' whole decor right now has a cap hit of $6.5 million. Sean Durzi is the highest paid Arizona Coyotes defenseman right now at $1.7 million. Josh Brown is second at $1.275. Yusuf Valimaki at an even million, and then Michael Kesselring, JJ Moser, and Travis Dermott all make under $1 million. None of them are signed beyond this season. Woo! Dude, the Leafs have 4 guys with a higher cap. No, wait. No, they have 5. The Leafs have 5 guys with a cap hit higher than the Coyotes decor, and I realized they had 5 because Nylander's cap hit now, before his extension kicks in, is more! Dude, that's nuts. How are the Coyotes catching strays in this video? I'm sorry. Anyway, by the end of the second period, the Oilers were hopeless. Like, Stuart Skinner was not good by any means, but the grade A chances for the Leafs, like nobody near anybody. And they forgot McMahon existed again! McMahon out there with a different group of guys from last time. Tavares to Nylander to a wide open Bobby McMahon. Goal! His 13th of the season. So ridiculous. The Leafs are up 5-0 after 2. Pontus Holmberg and Bobby McMahon, who were both on the Marlies to start the season, both on hat-trick watch tonight. Also, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Bobby McMahon just signed an extension for $1.35 for each of the next 2 seasons after this one. And he's scoring at, like, what, a 20-goal pace? That deal has the potential to be pretty good. Now, what happens at the end of the second period? Well, Darnell Nurse loses his temper and he goes at it with Joel Edmondson. And I saw some people confused, like, where did that come from? Dude, what it came from was Edmondson was being a jerk to McDavid, and in particular Draisaitl, all night. Oh, dude, this is what the Leafs have been lacking in the playoffs. Yeah, I know his numbers, whatever. Here's what they need, right? So you get punishing defensemen. There are punishing defensemen like Jake McCabe. Jake McCabe is a guy who will run you right over. There are defensemen who will also run you over, but it's more that they're willing to do anything. That's Simone Benoit. A little bit of Ilya Lyubushkin as well. Then there are like warrior defensemen, guys who are just strong, stalwarts. Luke Schenn from last year. Like, that's how I sort of look at him. Then there's a guy, the sort of player the Leafs have not had on their decor for any of their playoff runs over the Matthews era. A dude who just makes it awful to show up to work. Well, I'm sure players like deking around him and getting the lion's share of the chances and the... No, you're missing the point. Dude, even if you get a scoring chance, even if you score, your ribs, your hips, just your skin, your muscles, your everything is gonna hurt tomorrow. Players go to bed cursing the name of Joel Edmondson the night after they've played him. Go ask anyone the Blues played in 2019 when they won the Cup, and go ask any Leaf from their experience from the 2021 series. And because of him, the Leafs start the third period of a game they're already winning 5-0 on the power play. And nothing happens with the power play. The Leafs don't score, but, you know, it's 2 minutes off the clock. And that is when the game stopped being fun so abruptly. It starts with Connor Timmins, puck over the glass. Here's the thing. Players need to learn to, like, fake it. Like, that hit the glass. Nope, you get Connor Timmins like, nah, immediately. Don't throw your head back like Charlie Brown. Lie! And the Oilers, who are the Oilers, score. Who was it? Connor McDavid, scoring by basically throwing the puck in off Zach Hyman's stick. There's one. He's got one. The Oilers have one, but he's got one. And we got to stop both of them from getting 2. McDavid's 87th assist, by the way, truly stupid. Then, an alarmingly short amount of time later, Connor Dewar takes a trip on Matthias Janmark. Evander Kane and Corey Perry on the ice at the same time as each other. Again, that feels like it shouldn't be allowed. Corey Perry scores, which sucks because now the Leafs lead is 3, and also it sucks when Corey Perry scores. Secondary assist, by the way, goes to Connor McDavid, his 88th assist. Truly stupid. Now, Nyes makes his way back up onto the top line as the period goes. He's out there with Matthews, and they're out there for an eternity. Then they also, on top of that eternity, ice the puck. Back down to their zone, brings the Oilers' cavalry over the boards, brings Calvin Pickard, who began the third period, to the bench for the extra attacker, and a general bad time. Leon Draisaitl, who was banging on the door all night, scores. Connor McDavid gets an assist, his 89th assist of the season. Truly stupid. Oh, and Ilya Samsonov is hurt, like really hurt. Which, by the way, they updated after the game. He's fine. They said that. They said those words. Could have fooled me. Now Martin Jones comes into the game. And so an ice-cold Martin Jones has to prevent the Oilers from getting 2 goals, probably with their goalie pulled the entire time, in the next 3.5 minutes. They immediately hit a goalpost on a wide-open net. Jones actually has to make a really sharp save in there. And it is not until 13 seconds left that Austin Matthews gets somehow, some way, his first empty net goal of the season for his 58th, his 57 goals on a goalie. And the Leafs win. A lot more stressful than it needed to be, and yet exactly as stressful as it needed to be. Oh, I forgot to mention in the middle of all that, Max Domi beat the brakes off of Matthias Janmark. I liked that. Also, Fun fight from Domi. I mean, I think it happened naturally because him and Janmark were sort of jousting at each other. That's just a weird fight for Janmark to take, first of all. Second of all, the Leafs had to lock the game down defensively at that point, and Domi's like, well, I know I'm not involved in this. And I love the guy, but he's right. I might as well take the fight. Just so you know I'm not lying, here it is from Mark Masters. Sheldon Keefe says it looks like Ilya Samsonov will be fine. Not as bad as it looked. What? Like, I'm 95% happy. I'm 5% upset. There's two tweets I like here in this screenshot. Number one from Elliot Friedman. Toronto actually sent Joseph Woll to Carolina today. The Maple Leafs face the Hurricanes on Sunday. That makes a lot of sense. He gets to sleep in a hotel bed and doesn't have to travel, and he's probably going to get the start tomorrow. That's actually really smart. Robert Malloy, who does the captions for these videos and is just overall wonderful, tells me it was probably a Charlie horse when he whacked his leg off the post. Obviously, that's just a theory from Robert, but I wondered the exact same thing in the moment. He hit his leg pretty hard. And, like, there's something to be said for playing through an injury and, you know, being a hero in that situation, but I'm willing to bet that a healthy Martin Jones is better than a injured almost any goalie in the NHL. Like, I'm not talking about like a goalie who's at like 90%. That didn't look like a goalie at 90%, did it? We've all had injuries where we're like, oh my God, I'm dying. My leg is gonna fall off. And 5 minutes later, you're like, oh, actually, I'm fine. But it doesn't feel like that at the time. And unfortunately, you can't be like, actually, I need 5 minutes, please. This isn't like MMA where you get some time when someone kicks you in the, well, anyway. I want to do Marley Minute right now before we get to questions. Nick Barden, who is an excellent reporter, is here to talk to us about one of the unsung heroes of the Toronto Marlies, Joseph Blandisi, who used to be such a pest in the NHL. He's had stints with the Devils and the Penguins, just off the top of my head. He's on an AHL contract with the Toronto Marlies right now. I just wonder, because he's done so well with the Marlies, if there's an NHL contract potentially in his future. Nick, take it away.
If there's one player that I haven't spoken about much, and he's kind of flown under the radar with the Toronto Marlies this season, it's got to be 29-year-old forward Joseph Blandisi. Now, Blandisi joined the Marlies organization back in December of 2021 on a PTO after recovering from a surgery he had that summer, and he really hasn't looked back since, being with the team now for his third season. Over the course of the last 3 years with Toronto, Blandisi's grown in a lot of ways. His game has grown a lot, and he's now playing within the Marlies' top six, and he's playing in almost all situations with the team. He's also an assistant captain alongside Kyle Clifford and Captain Logan Shaw. He's a guy who's a leader on this team now, and he's one that over the years has built up that repertoire of being a guy in that locker room who can be trusted and who can have a voice that carries a lot of weight. What stood out most about Blandisi this season is not only the fact that he's almost averaging a point per game in the AHL, but more so the fact that he scores big goals for this team a lot, whether it's in the dying minutes of games, the dying minutes of periods, or even in overtime. Blandisi's a guy who John Gruden relies upon and calls an instinctual player who can find the back of the net when the team needs it most. Blandisi has a cool story. He's drafted in the 6th round of the 2012 NHL draft. He played for a few teams in the New Jersey Devils, Anaheim Ducks, Pittsburgh Penguins, and when he signed his PTO, he was coming home to play for the Marlies, and he's a guy who's really proud of his roots, really proud where he came from, and he's a guy who's finding his way throughout another season in the AHL, and he's really producing, which could lead to a possible NHL contract in the future for him.
Marlies are a fascinating team. There's a bunch of guys on there who I think could do it at the NHL level, but a lot of them don't have NHL deals. Who's ready to become the next Bobby McMahon? That's my question. Do you ever forget that Corey Perry is an Oiler until his face suddenly appears on screen like the ghost of the town librarian? Or is that just me? I'm sorry. The ghost of who? That's extraordinarily specific. I won't lie, I did forget Corey Perry was in this game for the vast majority of this game, and I am not used to that with Corey Perry. It's really weird. It's like Corey Perry has a completely different job on the Oilers than he did on the Blackhawks. When Corey Perry got his contract ripped up with the Blackhawks, he was like third in scoring with them, and he was in charge of just constantly being a jerk and throwing the other team off their game. Part of the reason for that is almost every team the Blackhawks played was better than them. With the Oilers, it's a little bit like, all right, yeah, be a pest and get in front of the net and bang in some goals like he did in this one, but also like, don't take a penalty. It's weird. You would think that would give him more freedom to be a jerk and not less. It's really weird. Hyman was the free space tonight, right? amazed he didn't hit 50 against us. Yeah, like the Leafs technically won this game by 2 goals because the Leafs were down 1-0 like at puck drop because we knew Hyman was scoring. The victory was in the 2 points, but it was also in preventing Hyman from getting the second one. What do you need to eat with mustard on top to magically heal Sammy's groin or whatever he injured? Amanda, can we just take this moment in our lives as fellow human beings to did you read this out loud before? What do you need to eat with mustard on top to magically heal Sammy's groin? You know, this is my job. Like, no one else gets asked that at their job. I would do another chocolate cupcake to answer your question, but only one. That was gross. So, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. The Oilers lose and are frauds and are probably bad. No, I'm not even convinced that. I can't believe they were up 5-0. That's crazy.